let's start with heart disease then, just because that's kind of the topic here. What's going on with these polyunsaturated fatty acids as it relates to heart disease?
So two different things, or two different ways. In my two main ways, I think that they. I guess I'll add a third. I just thought of a third of ways that they're contributing to heart disease. One is that they're just a very nutrient poor source of food. Like you're getting a ton of energy, the wrong type of energy at that, and very little nutrients. And so your body's just gonna, it's only gonna be satiated if you get enough nutrients and enough energy. If you're just getting one of those, you're gonna keep eating. And so that's one issue. Another issue is that these oils, these fatty acids are very unstable because they have double bonds, which make them unstable. They're not saturated with hydrogens, which would give them all single bonds to the carbons. And so when they're unsaturated like that, they're more likely to get damaged, whether that's from heat or light or just metabolism within the body. And so when we eat these, we end up getting, we get high levels of inflammation and oxidative stress because these fats will get damaged very easily when we eat them. Most of the time they're damaged before we even eat them.
Right.
Because they've been heated at very high levels or whatever. Just the process of making them damages them. And so that leads to, a lot of inflammation and oxidative stress. And if people read my book and they follow me, they know that I'm very focused on being metabolically healthy, reducing inflammation and oxidative stress, and then balancing the autonomic nervous system. I think those are the three major things that drive heart disease. And so eating these oils definitely drives inflammation and oxidative stress to very high levels because these oils are so unstable and they cause all kinds of damage when they get into our body. And then the third one, probably the biggest one, is that these oils seem to break your metabolism. Just the way that they're metabolized in your Krebs cycle, which is in your mitochondria where we make our energy. When we burn too much polyunsaturated fats, it breaks your metabolism to the point that it causes insulin resistance. And insulin resistance is a huge deal when it comes to the arteries. I mean, it's a huge deal pretty much everywhere in the body, but it's a huge deal when it comes to the arteries because insulin is a hormone that signals for growth and repair a little bit. Which is probably why it's gotten a bad name in some circles, but it's necessary to have growth and repair because our body is inflicting, or it's absorbing damage all the time. It's lots of different, the wear and tear on the arteries happens all the time, and the ability of your body to repair itself is what keeps the arteries healthy. And so for the lining of the arteries to repair itself, it needs some insulin signaling. But if you're insulin resistant, that signaling is not going to happen, the repair doesn't happen, and the body has to do something else to kind of patch up the lining of the artery. So it uses cholesterol and minerals and things like that, kind of as spackle almost to patch things up, and that's where we get atherosclerosis. But it all is driven from the fact that our arteries can't repair themselves because there's no insulin signaling. And so we eat these unsaturated fats, these polyunsaturated fats, these vegetable oils. The way they're metabolized signals the body to be insulin resistant, which if we want to go into the details of that, we can, but that's the general concept you need to get. And that insulin resistance is what drives the formation of atherosclerosis, among so many other things in the body.